Mula sa kabisera ng Inglaterra, sa puso ng Britanya, London, UK. London, UK. Ito ang Channel Philippines Network, Pinoy Radio UK. Pinoy Radio UK. Sumasayang papawid 24 oras. 24 oras. Buong linggo. Sa www.pinoyradiouk.com. Ang mga pinakapaborito mga awitin, mga pinakaabangang programa, at mga sariwang balita at impormasyon mula at para sa mga kababayang Pilipino sa UK at sa buong mundo. Pinoy Radio UK. Pinoy Radio UK.
Okay, happy Tuesday, no? Another brand new week ko ngayon. Although Monday nagsimula, pero today in a way officially ang day of the week natin because yesterday was a bank holiday dito sa United Kingdom. Katatapos lang ho ng coronation ng bagong hari ho, no, si King Charles. So, happy Tuesday. I'm so glad, no? Tuesday na naman ngayon. At siyempre dahil pagka Tuesday kasama natin yung ating abogada na magbibigay sa atin ng kaalaman. So it's fun, nagkakakumustahan, we learn a lot of things aside from the law, no? May mga bagay-bagay na natututunan pa tayo, no? Physical fitness, mountain climbing, running, walking or hiking, lahat ho natututunan natin dito sa ating pinakamamahal na abogada. But of course, no, ito ho yung Legal Advice Corner, a program for tungkol sa batas, no, legal problems dito ho sa United Kingdom. So, doon sa ating mga kababayan na taga-UK, welcome ho dito po sa Legal Advice Corner. Kung kayo ho ay taga-ibang bansa at, well, hindi naman ho kayo taga-UK, okay lang ho. Basta tuloy lang kayo, kabayan. Welcome ho sa ating program. Ako po si SONNY LARAGAN, ang inyong laging kasama every Tuesday evening ho dito ho sa Legal Advice Corner. Live ho sa Filipino TV Europe. At teka muna, pakilala ko na yung ating pinakamamahal na abogada, no? Abogada ho, Brains and Beauty. And siya ho ay may kakaibang gagawin ho nitong mga June yata yan. So she has the whole month of May to work on it. Mukhang sasama sa isang grupo yata ng mga maglalakad lang naman sa Alps. Yung alam niyo naman yung Swiss Alps. Ito ho yung mga matataas na mountains na malamig, no? So malamig, pero depende kung malamig. Tatanungin natin, no? Alamin natin, siyempre nag-research na to sa kanyang journey. And she makes life exciting for herself, no? So talagang high power na lady because she works hard and she how do you call it? Play hard ba or adventures hard? Sabihin na lang natin. Okay mga kaibigan, ang ating batang-batang managing partner po ng Deo Volente Solicitors. Siya po ang ating kasama rito. Siya po ang talagang star of the show dahil ako ay alalay lang at kumbaga kasama lang at ako'y kumukha nitong mga nakaraang linggo puro tayo mga truth or myth. At ayan, natututunan natin, may natututunan tayo. Minsan okay tayo, perfect ba natin? Minsan may 3, 4, 2 mali, no? Pero maganda ho, it's fun. It's a fun way of spending our Tuesday night by learning about the law dito sa United Kingdom. Who knows, no? Malay nyo, kayo ay apektado nito at malaking bagay ho ito para sa inyo. Okay, pakilala ko na. Hindi na ako magpapatumpik-tumpik. Sabi nga nila, tawagan na natin yung ating pinakamamahal na abogada, ang managing partner po ng Deo Volente Solicitors. Mga kaibigan, walang iba kundi si Attorney DANNA Quinto. Happy Tuesday, Attorney!
Happy Tuesday, Mr. Laragan. Tuloy po kayo. Welcome back sa ating remote social bubble na hindi na remote kasi ang dami ng mga ganap eh. Sabi mo nga, this is the start of our week dahil malaki po ang quite historic ang nangyari dito sa United Kingdom. We had the coronation of King Charles III ba, Mr. Laragan? King Charles III, ano?
The third, yes, I think so. Yeah, the third.
Yeah, and the Queen concert, Camilla, it was a huge event in the UK. At dahil dyan, meron kaming extra bank holiday, or what we really say is a bank holiday. Walang pasok nung Lunes. So yes, Mr. Laragan, balik na tayo. Looking at the weather today, konting weather update. Maulan, but it's 15 degrees Celsius, so it's not too cold. You ask about kung ano yung magiging temperatura sa Alps, which is I'm planning to
yes.
I'm planning to go there
next month.
Yeah,
Confirm na.
Oh yeah, confirm na po.
Confirm na yan.
Hopefully, mga ganito, 15 degrees, but then with Alps, kasi rightly so, sabi nyo, mabundok, mataas. And we're hoping to see the Mont Blanc mountain. No. So I'm hoping to, yun ang iikot-ikutan, yun ang, kumbaga, matawag doon, focal point nung walk. It's about probably 12 to 15 degrees or cooler in the evening. But with Alps or any mountain, meron po silang tinatawag na sariling weather system. So even if dun sa valley mainit, minsan it gets you get a different weather system. As you go up higher, it tends to be a little bit more volatile. So if you're planning to, sabi nga natin, hindi lang to legal advice corner. We share our hobbies, we share different trivias. Na, baka lang makatulong. O kayo din po, baka meron kayong tips. And if you have other, kumbaga mga tawag nila pro hack, meron kayong mga nalalaman na mga extra na mga ano dyan, mga ways to hike, or really good tips, safety or about preventing injury, please share. Kasi dito naman madaming hiker ata dito, madaming walkers, madaming runners, madaming enthusiasts, or madaming gustong gawin yung mga yon. So if you're looking at doing that, so what I would say, if you are going to a mountain, kahit na tingnan mo, mainit naman or summer, makikita mo dun sa kit list, because you'll be given a kit list. Para ka pa rin pupunta ng 4 na season, because you'll never know what will happen up there in the mountains. So you'll have to prepare for all seasons. So you'll have to prepare for snow. May mga konting snow pa ata sa taas, so you'll have to prepare for that. You'll have to prepare for rain, for a bit colder weather, and you have to prepare kung mainit din, kasi isa yun sa mga dehydration, malaking problema. And safety-wise, the more remote you are, the harder it is to get help. Although may mga mountain rescue naman dyan, but you'd rather not be in that.
Walang signal, no? Walang signal dyan, no? Attorney, no? Walang signal dyan, no?
You can't always assume na may signal. May mga signal kahit minsan sa Scotland. Ang weirdo dyan, Mr. Laragan. Minsan may signal, tapos 2 steps ka lang, wala nang signal. Yun ang mga nakakatawa sa bundok. That's my experience of mountain. Minsan sa summit may signal, tapos pag step down mo ng 2 steps, wala nang signal. May mga personal...
May mga blind spots.
May mga blind spots. But one thing that you can get, which I don't have yet, because pag hindi ko alam yung lugar, katulad nito, I'm going with a group. Kung alam ko yung lugar, I go on my own, and kung short hiking lang. But a thing to share is on longer hikes, and kung medyo hindi kayo, or if you want another layer of safety. Meron na ngayong mga personal GPS device and a personal parang you can SOS kahit walang signal, mobile phone signal. It has a satellite signal. So may mga ganun technology na ngayon, yung Garmin in-reach system, I think that's what they say. So it's a small little thing na pwede mong, pag nawala ka, pwede mong nakakonekta ata yun sa loved ones mo, which will...
So pwede ka ma-trace?
O, pwede ka ma-trace. Pero yun,
okay.
yung
So they would know.
satellite, sa satellite system.
Satellite.
So when you go on, siguro Everest, mga ganun. May mga, meron pa nga avalanche, avalanche warning system.
Yes, avalanche.
I don't think so. I don't think we'll go
What about avalanche? What do you mean? You mentioned the avalanche. Why did you mention yung avalanche? Kasi delikado yan, di ba? Pagka nabasag yung snow, yung ice, matabunan ng tao, di ba? Or mga sakyan,
Again, that's one reason as well that you'll carry those devices. Kasi pag hinahanap ka, kasi hindi ka makita, di ba? Na anuhan ka na natabunan ka ng snow. So pwede kang mahanap if you press that SOS. So that's quite good.
Anong part ka ng Alps nga? Was it Italian Alps ba? O saan kaya? Swiss? Sang Alps ka ba nandun, attorney?
I think, if I'm not mistaken, we'll be going into 3 countries just by walking a few days. So ganun ka, dikit-dikit yung mga ruta doon. So I'll start at Chamonix. So that's the center. That is France. But
Saan yan? France or Switzerland?
No, I think that's France. I'll be landing in Switzerland, but ang nearest sa Chamonix is Geneva, so Geneva, Switzerland. So if you land in Geneva, it's only an hour and a half away from Chamonix, and then so that's France, and then you'll head to briefly sa Italy ata, and then going back to Switzerland, then going back to France, and then so dip out ka ng 3 countries kasi magkakatabi na po yan. Probably
ilang araw yan? Ilang araw ang buhok mo, bale? Ilang araw yan? Ilang araw yung adventure niya? Ilang araw
4 days. 4 days, I think.
Ilan, sir? 4 days. 4. Wow. So you're going to be billeted or staying in, I don't know, how would you call it? Cottage or log cabins?
Mountain huts.
Mountain huts, sorry? Mountain huts. Okay, mountain huts. Okay. All right. Well, okay. So you're going to be with a group of people. Group of people. Mga ilang kayo? Would you know ilang kayo magkakasama? Is this the first time din sila or?
No, I don't know really. I mean, it's a group. What they really do is take a group of people hiking so that alam mo na someone's leading, hindi ka mawawala. May nag-organize na ng hut to hut, and then you'll know that there's someone who knows the area who's leading it. So I think that's part of the experience, and it's quite good if you're, katulad ko, hindi ko kabisado ang Alps region. I'd like to try it on my own one day kasi malaki talaga yan. The usual the Tour de Mont Blanc, a part of Tour de Mont Blanc, katulad ng Camino, portion lang yung gagawin ko, but actually the Tour de Mont Blanc, I think usually takes about 2 weeks to go around it. So you're going around Mont Blanc.
Really? Wow.
And that's the whole of it. It's such a good thing.
Teka muna, you mentioned about yung parang yung satellite something. Kasi remember when you were running, kung alam lang namin na nasan ka, so you were mentioning na accessible to anybody? Basta may link, they go to a website or paano yan?
Yeah. So yung ginagamit sa just want to differentiate it first of all. Yung ginagamit po sa running, that's very rudimentary. It's just at the back of your name, yung number plate, yung number mo, yung race number mo. The back of it may maliit na chip siguro doon, and it's just normal technology. You will see sa running na may mga poste. Yung may mga poste at every 10-15 minutes. And then once you go through it, ma-activate po yan. So that that says, oh, may maririnig ka actually na, na sound. So parang, nag-check-in na siya, you went through the checkpoint ng race. With regard to the Garmin system, the much more...
Teka muna, who can hear that? Who can hear... Sorry, attorney. Who could hear that? You can hear that toot pagdaan sa ano, o yung tao, paano, sabi mo, yung pagdaan sa mga poste, toot. Ikaw ba, as a runner, do you hear it?
Yeah, I hear it. I
hindi,
think I hear it.
Yung taong magmamonitor sa'yo?
Yeah,
okay.
Hindi ko mag-monitor. I mean, yung monitor it's just kumbaga parang, alam mo yung sa GPS, nakikita ka lang kung, well, actually, yung iba may ganon. I think London Marathon has that. Kami, nakalagay lang, magtatali lang siya. So, parang may Excel spreadsheet na pag nag-register na yung ano mo, yung, you pass through that poste, magre-register na yun dun sa database nila. That's very different from the more sophisticated Garmin system for hiking. So the Garmin system, or Garmin is a brand. So yung system na yun, the GPS, is connected to a satellite. So regardless na may mobile phone signal o wala, connected yun sa satellite. So much wider yung coverage. I think it is connected because I don't have it. On disclaimers, wala po akong I've just seen it sa mga gear videos. I've done my research. It's hindi pa yung cost and benefit sa akin hindi pa naaabot kasi hindi naman ako pumupunta sa mga
mahal pa siya? Magkano ba more or less?
Yung mahal talaga. 100. I mean, if I do a long hike, multi-day hike, na ako lang mag-isa, probably it's worth it. But kung babalik naman ako sa hotel o babalik ako sa because I will tell you the other tradition that we have in hiking na how we look after each other if you're out there in the mountains. So that's if you're going on multi-day hike na walang nakakaalam kung nasan ka na. So you can give that. What I heard is that yung access doon can be given to your loved ones so pipili ka. And I think may central point ng Garmin na pwede kang magbigay ng access. I don't know exactly, but I think it connects to a few people. You're choosing kasi hindi naman pwede na parang public yon. So that's very different from the running chip. We call the running chip machine na nagre-register yung progress mo in a race. The other traditional way of how we look after each other, you find this siguro I find this when I go to Scotland and mga hiking areas, is even yung hotel nyo would actually ask you, sometimes they will ask you informally, where are you going? What time can we expect you? Hindi naman sila masyadong nagmamarites. They're doing it for safety. And sometimes talagang ilalagay, papipirmahan ka ng fill-up form na where are you expecting to go and what time are you expecting to come back. So that if they don't see you or if they don't check in, they know kung saan papupuntahin yung mountain rescue. So they know yung last position niya. So that's one way of looking after each other, especially in England, kasi most of the hills, we call it hills in England, most of the hills in England are done within a day. So within a day, wala namang multi-level. Well, yung iba umiikot around the hills, but if you're staying, you may base ka like what I did before sa Scotland, balik ka lang and then you go out hiking again. They will ask, and then out of courtesy, ako din nagsabi when I came back, I said, I'm back, I'm safe and back. Para hindi rin sila nag-aalala. So we look after each other. Yeah. It's very...
Parang SOP, no?
Yeah, SOP po yun. In
diba?
especially...
To ask, where are you going? Diba?
Yeah. Especially if you're walking alone. Especially if you're doing it alone. And kahit na grupo kayo, kasi things can happen. So those are yung mga mountain traditions or hiking traditions that would it would be safe. Kung hindi naman, you can tell people back home na this is where I'm staying, this is where I'm going. Gusto mong i-post ETA, estimated time of arrival, ganito, so that people know when to start looking. Because kung hindi ka bumalik ng certain hours, it becomes very, very difficult to find you.
Parang warning na.
Mahirap hanapin. Pag gabi na, mahirap maghanap, mas lalamig, your chances of survival are nagiging slimmer and slimmer as you stay up in the mountain in the evening. It's very, minsan yung mountain na akala mo medyo tame. One wrong move, yung sinasabi namin, one wrong move could change the whole the whole thing. Yung isang hindi wala pa ako sa dito sa legal advice corner. So one mountain na sobrang sa tingin ko very tame, last season sa Scotland may namatay doon dahil nadulas. Wow. So just that, nadulas lang, may maliit na exposure, and that was it. For me, nung akala ko very touristy nga yun, very, it's para yun sa mga beginners katulad ko. So I was very surprised na but that's very humbling, kasi sasabihin sa'yo, kahit minsan sa akala mo hindi naman madali, sa akala mo straightforward na hike, if you put weather and a lot of mga hindi unforeseeable circumstance, then that could be not a very good day. So ingat po tayo. Ang lesson po today sa ating Mountain Advice Corner, tell someone where you're going, whether technology man yan o pasabi lang. Tell someone where you're going and be very, very careful. Read the mountain weather system. Meron po yung special mountain weather system. Where you're staying, kung sa Scotland, ang nakakatawa dyan, makikita mo yung minsan sa, especially siguro mountain huts din or mga designation, may post ng mountain may print out ng mountain weather report every morning. So, ang nakakatawang mga tradisyon.
Yung mga dyan sa English channel, they're really concerned about the weather, kung anong weather talaga. Daily, alam nila yan. Concerned talaga, sila, nakatutok sila. I know that because yung mga yung mga swimmers sa English channel, pagka hindi maganda ang weather or hindi maganda hindi tatakbo yung accompanying, kasi when you go swimming, there's gonna be a boat that's gonna be side by side with you while you're doing the swim, sa English channel. So, yan. Bago tayo magbatian, attorney, tatanungin lang kita, umaraw, biglang nagtingkad yung araw. Tanong ko lang sa iyo, pareho di ba dyan? Tumingkad ang araw?
Medyo nag-clear na, may konting araw.
Nag-clear na, ito, maaraw na. Parang akala mo yung regular na hapon, sabagay, mag-alas 7 na, pero parang parang alas 2 ng hapon, alas 3 ng hapon na sa Pilipinas. Attorney, tanong ko lang, before we go into this, yung ating mga greetings, at saka bago mo hulaan sila yung unang bumate, has it ever crossed your mind to eventually do a pinakamataas na mountain, Mount Everest climb or hike, or how do you call it? Has it ever crossed your mind, attorney? Yung Mount Everest?
Yes. Let me show you something.
Kasi kasi Mount Everest, di ba? Yan ang pinakil ng parang pagka sa akyatan ng bundok eh. Ano ba tawag dito? Yung English channel, yan. Yung English channel kasi, attorney, yan ang parang Mount Everest na swimmers.
Yep.
Yung English channel, to swim the English channel is like the Mount Everest. Ano yan, attorney?
That's my copy to the book.
Ascent. Ascent to Everest. Nga, teka mo, kasi nga, sabi ko, yan, di ba? Everest is di ba? Wow. So, kumbaga, nasa dream mo yan, to eventually, at least, hindi mo man ma-scale yung pinakataas, at least, to be there in Mount Everest, doing it, di ba?
I think kung nakagat ka na ng mountain bug, it's very, very hard not to dream about climbing Everest. it is inevitable, kumbaga. Talagang papangarapin mo. At hindi lang Everest, because hindi actually siyang pinaka-technical na mountain sa buong mundo. Yung katabi niya, yung kapitbahay niya na K2, that's also
Kathmandu?
every
Ano ba yan?
dream. It's K2.
K2, okay. K2, K for kilo, and then 2, number 2.
Siguro kung dalawa yung factors where ang number 1 is napakamahal. So if once, and siguro kung meron nga ako,
Teka muna, yan ba yung may mga guide na may mga trained na sasama sa inyo? Kailangan, when you go to Mount Everest, hindi ka pwede pumunta na mag-isa. Merong mga guides na, I don't know, kung parang, yung mga locals. Tama ba yan? Parang may napanood ako sa TV na, hindi ba yan? Iba ba yan?
Yeah.
O sa Kathmandu, ayaw ko kung saan yun. Nepal?
Now, Kathmandu is the capital of Nepal. So if you go to Everest, Kathmandu is where you land. And then you make your way to the base camp. So base camp, it'll probably be 2 weeks before you reach yung starting point ng Everest.
Really?
So Everest, yes, it is advisable to do it with, we call hiking expedition. You don't just climb it, you acclimatize. So, you go from different camps and you go rotation, camp 1, down, camp 2, down, camp 3, balik na naman. You climb up and you sleep low. So until your body adjusts to the whole mountain system dahil konti yung oxygen, and your body is trying to move more blood cells.
You have to acclimatize, no?
So Sherpas, which you were talking about, sila yung
pass, yung pass, diba?
Yeah.
Sherpas. Sherpas yung mga natives.
They are the locals there. Although yung isa sa pinaka well-known of the Sherpas and na climber, which is Nims Porja, na siya yung nakagawa ng world record of 14,000 I think it's meter mountain within 6 or 7 months. He's done it. Anyway, they're the ones who yung physiology nila sanay dun sa environment dun sa Himalayas. That's the region rather than Kathmandu. So the region of that mountainous region, Nepal, Pakistan, China, Tibet, all of that are yung Himalayas na pinakamatataas na mga mountains. So you go there, it'll probably take you 2 weeks, 2 months to even look at the summit attempt. And then when the weather window is right, then at acclimatize ka na, then yes. And you are guided, assisted by normally an expedition. So may mga Sherpas who are naturally acclimatized. Kumbaga, they were born with the genetics to deal with it. So those are the greatest big mountains. You're in mountaineering. Oo naman, talagang papangarapin mo talaga. Papangarapin mo hindi lang yung Everest, pati lahat ng nakapaligid sa Everest, including everyone's favorite, a lot of mountaineering favorite, which is K2. The death rate on K2 is 1 out of 4. So 1 out of 4 who goes up dies at some point, either ascent or descent. So hindi lang money, because we're talking about five-figure each expedition. So you're talking upwards of 40,000 pounds, 50, 60, depende kung gaano ka yung comfort level na ibibigay sa'yo, gaano ka elite yung team mo. By elite, I mean elite in terms of skills, gaano ka kagaling yung expedition. So may but it's definitely 5-figure every expedition. So some people would get sponsors, some people would save for it for a year. So dalawa yun. So una, pera. Pangalawa, kung ready ka na, hindi lang when ready technically, but also of course, ready technically because you'll be approaching a very different environment. But also, let's be honest, malaki yung chance mo na hindi na bumalik. Yun ang katotohanan doon. If you go there, there's a huge,
Pero
you put yourself in danger.
Huwag kang pupunta ng Oo, huwag kang pupunta ng K2 ha. Huwag kang pupunta ng K2. Okay na yung mga ibang ano. Okay na yun. Delikado
Even
out of
Everest
course.
is very high risk factor. So those are mga things to balance. Pero libreng mangarap. Yun nga lang yung sabi natin. Libreng mangarap. Libre naman na tumingin sa libro, mag-research, manood ng documentary. Some people would understand the obsession. Some people don't. So kanya-kanyang trip. I think once you get into the mountain, that mountain, ano bang tawag yung an obsession, an addiction, a fondness.
Parang travel bug. But when you go traveling, it hits you. Parang ganun, travel bug. So climbing bug.
There's a climbing bug. Totoo ang climbing bug, Mr. Laragan. And I've seen it in people na nung una, wala lang. Tapos, you see them in a few months, lahat ng documentaries, lahat ng libro na bilhin nila. So, ako din, nainganyo lang din ako, and that's a gift from the person na nag-introduce sa akin ng mountain. So, knows me so well. siya yung nagbigay ng gift na yun. So yeah, I'm sure a lot of may mga viewers tayo dyan na nangangarap din, and we'll get there one day. So mabuhay po kayo at mag-iingat kung papunta po kayo doon.
Climbing is also quite, not really expensive, pero may cost din, kamukha nung meron akong nakasama sa gym na ang hobby niya yung mag-climb nung yung sa wall ganyan. Nagpo-wall siya. So, yeah, tapos kamukha nito, 5-figure, hindi pala basta pa lang yung tipong, punta tayo ng Mount Everest, akit tayo, hindi pala po pwede yan ng mga konting pera lang, It's really 5, But that's nice to know. Ayan may natutunan ho kayo, aside from, of course, ngayon, magli-legal advice tayo, legal, advice na, pero iyan maski parang natutunan nun ninyo something about climbing, and although may gastos din pala yung Garmin, yung satellite, just to know where you are, and we know about a lot of things na yun nga parang courtesy, when you go looking after people once, sa mga hikers, hindi nga nagsabi ko marites, hindi nagmamarites kundi nagtatanong lang para at least kunyari asan ba, ano ba ang mo, di ba, pinasusulat pa yata para in case you're not in by a certain time or a certain, yung parang meron ng warning signs or signals or whatever, ayun, at least alam kung nasa ng route ang pinuntahan mo, lalo na pag hindi ka umuwi. And these are things that we learn. I don't know these things, people don't know these things, so natutunan natin somehow because you've been there at na-share mo, attorney. So ayan, mountain climbing at iba pa. Okay, we're gonna have a short, di ba? Diretso tayo sa pagbati. Sige, attorney, bati time tayo. Sino sa palagi mo ang unang, bago tayo mag-bumper? Sige, bumper na muna siguro. Bumper na. Oliver Fernandez. Bumper na, direct. Sige. Bumper na. Ayan. Okay, ayan. Sino, attorney?
Oliver Fernandez, sa tingin ko.
Oliver Fernandez, tingin mo. Okay, Oliver Fernandez, tingnan natin direct. Sino nga ba? Oliver Fernandez. Tingnan natin kung one kaagad si attorney. Oh! Very good. Dako, napakahusay naman. Okay, yan. Dako mo, attorney. Yeah. Okay, go. Ito, gusto ko siya pag may message may kwento Sige, attorney.
May kwento ngayon. Good morning, Attorney Downer.
May kwento lagi siya pag
I'm pretty sure everyone in the UK has been partied out by now. Can't make it to the podium in time as I'm currently in the motorway with my son on our way to uni. However, it's still another Tuesday. as we put our thinking caps with Attorney Danna's Truth or Myth session regarding probate disputes. O, diba? Ang galing! Galing.
Yes.
Is there a Oliver, gusto ko yung mga comment mo, nakakatuwa dahil...
Gusto ko yung mga... Eksakto. Meron ba tayong delay? Direct, gusto ko sanang senyasan ka, tanongin, may delay ba? Parang delay kami, no? A slight delay. Kaya pala parang nagkaka-ano kami ni attorney, no? Okay. Maganda nga, tama ka. I really love reading or looking out sa message ni Oliver kasi may kwento eh. May ano siya.
May kwento.
Okay.
Oh.
Nakaisa ka, attorney, nakaisa ka. Sino pangalawa? Sino sa palagay mo?
Marian Galicia Paner ang pangalawa.
Aba, yung mga top favorites. Marian Galicia Paner. Tingnan natin. Sige. Marian Galicia Paner nga. Direct. Tingnan na natin. Oh!
Bawi. Last week wala ako natunan.
2 out of 2. Okay.
Marian
Wow,
Galicia
2 out of
Paner.
2.
Gusto na naman yung profile picture ni Marian. Hello po Kuya Sonny at Dana. Magandang gabi at sa lahat. Happy Tuesday po and stay safe always. And stay healthy. God bless us po. God bless you too, Marian Galicia Paner.
God bless.
Ayan.
Oh.
Din.
Nasa Cheltenham yata yan. Tama ba nga ba? Cheltenham, no? Tama nga ba? Marian, Cheltenham, nandun yan. So, yeah. Mabuhay na. Mabuhay. Okay, naka 2 out of 2 ka, attorney. Very good. Okay. At least nice night. At least naka-dalawa kagad. O, sino pa? No, dito na tayo ngayon. Kaya ka na ngayon mag-ano.
Dito na, parada ako sa play dito eh. Sabihin ko,
or baka sumabay ka.
Baka sumabay.
Rudy Libroho. Tingnan natin. Yeah. Rudy Libroho. Tingnan natin. Yan, si Rudy Libroho.
Ano yung weather sa kanila?
Uy! Attorney, naka-hat-trick na. Naka-hat-trick ka, attorney.
Yes.
Hat-trick, Wow, 3 out of 3, no? Ayan, hat-trick, Pagka sinabi hat-trick, naka 3 out of 3 kayo. Ayan, galing. Sige, attorney, pakibasa.
Rudy Libro, happy Tuesday, magandang attorney Dana, Sir Sonny, Cutie Snooky, Sir Edgar, Direct Lovely Paula, and all happy viewers. God bless us all from Team Libro. Ayan, perfect. Yan, tatlo, 3 out of 3. Pwede nang mag-retire for tonight. Okay na yan. Gawin na tayo. Perfect.
Nakaiba yan, ha? Hindi, nakakatuwa kasi, di ba? And, just mga ganito, kunyari, para kayong nanalo sa something or any game, napunta ka sa fair, area, ganyan, di ba? Or yun,
babaw ng kaligayahan.
It makes you feel good. Hindi, pinakamababaw ang mas okay lang. Hindi naman mababaw, okay yun eh. That's nice. Hindi mo na kailangan. Pero hindi mo naman kalaya ba? Luck yan eh. Luck lang na-champion. So, congratulations for having 3 out of 3. Sino mga susunod? Sige, attorney? Sige. Hindi, pasok mo na direct. Papasahin lang pala. Ayan. Uy! Yung reporter natin. Si Mr. Egay Degay.
YouTuber, nag-post niya ng YouTube about the coronation. Happy Tuesday to Mr. LARAGAN, Attorney Donna, working direct and to the viewers. Work from Canary Wharf today, DLR to Bank, and Northern Line to Morden seem not busy. Looking forward to lots of learning again today. Thanks, Egay the Guy. Ayan. Nagbabalik na.
Para siyang no? Para siyang traffic reporter para siyang traffic reporter, iba yung yung dating pa ng niya, no? Galing yung mga choice of words niya, talagang kompleto, traffic report talaga. Well, thank you, Egay Dagay, Uy, si Ma'am Cora.
Tita Cora is here, guys. Give Tita Cora some love. Darling Snooki, give Tita Cora some love. Para magandang gabi.
Natutulog.
Tulog na po si Darling Snooki.
Ganda ng tulog niya. Kuha ko ng picture sana para share ko kay Direct para mailabas niya. Meron kasi kami parang meron ka kami kasing isang sofa. Yung sofa namin, dumating after 2 months. Hindi ko alam kung saan galing. Galing pa ng Italy. Grabe. It talk about, tapos ganoon din yung dining, yung bed, lahat, no? It takes a long time pala, no? Akala ko, pagka umano kayo, when you move into a place, at bumili ka ng gamit, saglit lang, no? Hindi, no? Hindi pala. Okay, sino? Uy, si OG Gabales. So, hi, OG.
Hello, OG ba yan? OG Gabales. Tito Sonny, hello.
OG, ikaw ba yung nasa Spain, OG? Sorry, so i-refresh ko lang, ikaw ba yung taga-Spain na nag-host din yata si OG sa Spain eh. Let us know para kung nasan kayo, please alam ko si Maria taga-Cheltenham yata, di ba? So yeah. Uy,
wow,
Vincent Garcia.
Saudi Arabia. Garcia Vincent, good evening po sir. Watching from Abbas, Saudi Arabia. Wow naman.
Wow, galing. Anong oras na ngayon sa Saudi Arabia? Ang Saudi ba? Attorney? Yes? Sige,
may delay.
May delay kasi
may delay ng konti. May delay. May delay ng konti.
Oo, may delay. Oo. Ayan. Anong sabi mo? Anong sinabi mo?
Nakakatuwa kasi hindi ko alam kung anong oras ngayon dyan. So must be midnight, around midnight. Pero nakakatawa kasi may mga bagong viewers tayo. Wow.
Oo nga. Mabuhay kayo yung mga viewers natin. Mabuhay kayo. Maski sa bahagi kayo ng mundo, no? Ayan. Si attorney, si Ma'am Cora. Ayan. Okay, Ma'am Cora.
Ma'am Cora, always napaka-supportive. Enjoy and keep safe, Attorney Donna, and all your walks as you go around Geneva and the other places. Thank you, Tita Cora. We'll send photos. Nasama ko po kayo sa mga natin, lagalag. May mga kung saan napupunta.
Wow.
But,
yan si attorney, no? Maski saan napupunta. Maski saan talaga. So, mabuhay attorney, Oy, Oliver Fernandez. Wow, ito na naman. Maganda. Natutuwa ako sa mga mini-message niya. Sige, attorney, basahin mo.
Oliver sharing this, and a very traditional way of keeping trace of hikers' boys' physical record book and a pencil which is kept in the trailhead. We usually write our name, time of arrival, destination, and car registration. From those details, the authorities will be alerted if anyone needs to be rescued or that's very well known sa yung mga long trails sa America, Appalachian Trail, Pacific Crest Trail, and the Continental Divide Trail. So those are the three super long trails in the States. And ganon, meron din silang mga logbook, parang ganon, keeping trace. Dito
Pacific sites yan,
mga ganon.
Sa Pacific sites si Oliver.
Sa Pacific
sites si Oliver.
Nadadaanan po kayo ng Pacific Crest Trail. I think so. Sa Washington, I think they get to go there. But
kasi Washington State and California, di ba? Yun ang side ng Pacific Ocean, no? So, ang New York and Washington DC and Florida is Atlantic Ocean. So, thank you. Maganda sinay ni Oliver. Thank you very much. Mabuhay. We love the sharing that you do, that you give us. Uy, Edgar Duay. Uy, malapit na nga pala ang kanilang Barrio Fiesta sa first week ng June 3 ba? Direct? Hindi pa ako sa June 3, tama. Sige, attorney, si Edgar Duay, pakibati natin. Ako.
Edgar Duay says, magandang gabi sa inyo, Attorney DQ, Sonny LARAGAN, the legend, the rock star in the direct Paula, Patricia Rocky Perez, mga manonood, my friends, good evening, Edgar. So, kanilang,
good evening, Edgar. Yes. 3rd of June, no? Barrio Fiesta sa Derbyshire, no? Ayan, tama, ayan. Ayan, pakibasa natin. Invited kayo lahat yan. Sige, attorney, pakibasa.
Yeah, invited na po kayo lahat. Barrio Fiesta sa Derby, our band, Edgar's band will play along with other local talents. Name ng band is Bandarito.
Galing. Bandarito. Okay, galing Yeah, we'll be there. We will be there, no? We will be there, no?
May malaki na pong Barrio Fiesta this year, Mr. LARAGAN, yung dito sa atin sa London, yung London na Barrio Fiesta, nagbabalik na ba yan?
Hindi ko alam yung isa pero yung sa ABS-CBN, yung TFC, hindi ko alam kung nagbabalik. But I'll find out, no? Okay. Merong isang pero yun. Yung grupo yata nila Errol at saka ni Marie, no? Pero yun, I don't know kung tuloy yung Barrio Fiesta nung tag dito sa ABS-CBN. We'll find out. I'll find out from yung kanilang managing director, si Luis, ano pangalan to? Si Luis Bariwan, no? Pwede natin tawagan. But anyway, Uy, si Anak King, Gabriela Silang, oo.
Gabriela Silang.
Pangalan talaga niya.
Talaga ba?
Pangalan talaga niya, pwede. Oo. Gabriela Silang, mabuhay ka ha, Gabi ha, mabuhay si Gabriela. Nanood siya last time sa tunay niya pangalan yan. Gabriela Silang, 'di ba? Si Diego Silang yung tapos yung asawa. Pareho silang heroes sa Pilipinas. Gabriela. Mabuhay ka ha, Gabi ha. Oo. Pero nakakatawa si Gabriela dahil sabi nga niya na bata daw siya, pinubuli daw siya because of the name. Pero maganda yung pangalan mo. Kung nasa Europe ka, okay lang, walang ano.
Wala naman
siya. So yan, mabuhay ka. Oo.
Ayan. Yeah.
Dubai.
Edgar, napakabait naman ni Edgar. Good luck daw sa walks and bantayan lang kita from time to time. Share location mo para pag may accident, we can trace you. And you will fly and rescue. Naku, napakabait. But yes, I will share and I will I'll take photos and share the location. Para
share mo, i-update mo kami.
Random din kayo para makita din yung
yes,
very different.
May mga photos ka. May mga photos ka pag nasa bundok ka sa taas ka, attorney. May mga photos ka sa taas, di ba? Maganda yan.
Mataas talaga doon.
That's nice. Wow.
Ang daming bago ngayon ha. Ang daming mga taga-Europe at ibang solid supporter si
Thank you.
Gabi.
Gabi, buhay ka.
One of my favorite holidays ever was Greece. Yung napunta ako sa Greece last year. Amazing. Talagang nag-enjoy ako. Mr. Laragan too, di ba? Pareho pa tayo nung pinuntahan sa Aegina.
Aegina Island. Di ba? Aegina Island ka? Nag-island ka sa Aegina ba? Aegina ba?
That's right.
Aegina?
Yeah. Aegina.
Pinagmamalaki ko kasi no Thursday, nanood si Gabriela during the Immigration Corner program. Doon siya nagpakilala. And I was telling her sa show na tama, nag-enjoy ako doon sa Greece and I'd love to go back. Parang, kasi ang Greece, puro islands yun eh. Diba? So, nung taga-Athens yata si Gabriela, taga-Athens. If I'm not mistaken, yata. Naalala ko. Ang galing sa
Locomadas, yung donuts na dipped in chocolate. Locomadas, ang sarap. And Costa, which was a gyros, yung kilalang parating pinupunta ng mga turista, which is gyros. Like, ang summary, nag-enjoy akong kumain.
Wait, naalala mo yung pareho yata nating binanggit yung parang very friendly siya, yung mga tindahan ng mga pistachio.
Pistachio? Yung pareho mabait natin.
Bumili ako ng liquor, yung liquor, pistachio liquor ba? Liqueur or whatever. Liqueur. Kaiinom ko lang last week yata. Yung galing sa Greece, doon sa Aegina.
Ang lakas. Binigyan niya ako. Mabait siya, hindi niya pipilitan bumili. Gustong-gusto niya lang na i-try mo. Sabi ko, okay, sige. Kasi, ang bait niya. Bumili ako ng pistachio, but pinainom niya, try mo. Sabi ko, grabe, alas 12 pa lang, parang nahilo na ako dun sa likod niya. But yeah, pareho tayo ng si ate na mabait, the really lovely pistachio lady.
Mabait yan.
Napakabait.
Pistachio lady, Pero ang pistachio, pagdating mo, merong pistachio na pero hindi ko kagad tingnan yun eh. Tapos lakad-lakad konti, makikita mo na yun, yung babae. Diba?
You won't miss her.
So, gusto ko yun. Gusto ko yun, nag-enjoy ako doon sa we would really love to go back, attorney, di ba? Sa Greece, no? Okay yun
Yes.
talaga, no? Direct, ano ba? Mag-break na ano tayo? Mag-break na ba tayo? Okay.
Magtrabaho na lang ako ng legal advice corner. Sabi ni Direk. Ay, kanina pa ako yung pumabot sa ano, kung ano, saan na kayo napunta. Magtrabaho na daw tayo ng legal advice corner, Mr. Laragan.
Hindi, kasi naman nakakatuwa naman kasi because of our viewers from different parts, no? Saudi, Greece, si OG, alam ko, parang kung taga ano ba, kung Spain ba, kung di ako nagkakamali, no? But anyway, okay, we're gonna have a short break, ho. Pagbalik ko natin,
Olive oil.
olive oil, yeah. Yung ano, yung masarap na olive oil, kalapa na ba yun? Kalakaka, ano parang kalaka? Doon ko nabili sa ano doon kami sa AG na attorney, bumili kami ng nasa lata, kalapa na olive oil.
Kalamata
Oo, olive oil. Kasi doon pag, ano pangalan, no? Kalamata? Kalamata yata, no?
Kalamata. May olive
Kalamata,
festival.
parang ganun yata.
Madami doon sa AG.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, nakakatawa.
Maganda sa AG.
Very happy about Greece. Ako,
So, thank you,
Thank you.
Yes.
Kaya,
We'll go back. I would love to go back to Greece talaga, to Athens. Gusto ko yung enjoy yung parang busy sa gabi. Ano pangalan? Pagka mga tube, yung mga trend dun mismo parang merging line yun Nakalimutan ko na anong lugar na yun Na pagka may mga hotel doon na sa tuktok na hotel. Hindi, ano Pakalimutan ko na. Basta yung pagka sa lugar na yung attorney, andun yung mga hotel na nasa tuktok ka, and then you can see yung sa background mo yung, ano pangalan ng yung, hindi naman, anong pangalan nun? Yung parang Mount, hindi naman Olympus nakalimutan ko na.
Nakalimutan natin.
Sige.
I think I know what you're saying. Yeah. Talagang maganda.
Yung may kay Venus na, yung parang, ano pangalan ng tuktok na yun? Mountain na sa gitna ng Athens na,
Mount Lisebetus dun sa, meron dong maliit na mountain Madami yung maliit na. Olympus.
Ano pangalan? Hindi Olympus Hindi Olympus Ano pangalan? Hindi, yung pinakagitna ng ng pinaka sa taas parang yung
Parthenon. The Parthenon. Yun ba yung
yung Parthenon part of that. Part nandun siya. One of the buildings yung Parthenon yata ron. Pero Parthenon din. Anyway. We're gonna have a short break, and then when we come back, and i-discuss natin yung topic. Ano yung topic natin, direct? Anong topic dyan? Paki-flash nga lang. Ayan. Truth or myth, probate dispute. Yan. Okay, we're gonna have a short break, and when we come back, pag-uusapan natin. Wag ko kayong alis. Saglit po lamang.
Mula doon hanggang ngayon, serbisyong mapagkakatiwalaan, serbisyong maaasahan pagdating sa inyong mga padalang balikbayan boxes. Dito ka na sa Forex Cargo. Sa presyong kayang-kaya ng bulsa, sigurado ka pa sa inyong padala. Forex Cargo. Dahil kailangan makarating. Call 0208-813-7064. O, ano pang inaantay niyo mga kabayan? Tayo na sa Forex Cargo.
100% all natural, tasty, healthy, versatile, 4 unique flavors. Taste a real sauce. Galetos.
Mula sa kabisera ng Inglaterra, sa puso ng Britanya, London, UK. Ito ang Channel Philippines Network, Pinoy Radio UK. Sumasayang papawid 24 oras buong linggo sa www.pinoyradiouk.com. Ang mga pinakapaborito mga awitin, mga pinakaabangang programa at mga sariwang balita at impormasyon mula at para sa mga kababayang Pilipino sa UK at sa buong mundo. Pinoy Radio UK.
Okay, balik po tayo sa ating programa. Ito po si Sonny Laragan dito po sa Legal Advice Corner. Happy Tuesday po sa inyong lahat, no? For those of you who have tuned in for the first time, ito ang Legal Advice Corner at we talk about legal matters and legal advice dito po sa United Kingdom. Okay, well, syempre tawagan natin yung ating pinakamamahal na abogada, no? Siya pong star of the show. Wala naman akong alam tungkol dito sa ating tungkol sa batas dito sa United Kingdom, no? Hindi ganun kalalim, ika nga. Ayan, okay, Attorney Dana Quinto, good evening once again.
Good evening, Mr. Laragan. Ito naman ang star of the show. Lahat tayo. Pati si Mr. Laragan, si Direk Pao, si Snooki, and obviously all the viewers. Kasi, as you know from the mechanics of the game, kung wala pong sasagot ng truth or myth, wala po tayong show ngayon. So, the mechanics, we've been doing this for about, siguro, 4 na buwan na. I will give 10 statements about a particular topic, which today is probate dispute. And huhulaan niyo po kung truth ba ito, totoo ba, o myth, haka-haka lang. And then later on, I will give the explanation or I will give the background story, bakit nga ba haka-haka to o bakit totoo yung statement. So without further ado, kuha na ng pen, paper, bawal mag-Google, you know, and later on, we will check and compare notes ulit. So, statement number 1. The assets owned by the deceased at the time of their death are referred to collectively as their estate. So, yung estate na parating minimension ng mga abogado, I've mentioned before as well in this show, ang definition pala ito yung assets na lahat ng assets nung namatay, all of these are called the estate. Is that truth or myth? Number 2, probate, so meaning of probate, is the legal authority by which someone can distribute the deceased assets according to either their will or if they don't have the will, the intestacy rules. So, probate, ito daw ang legal authority, ito yung pinanghahawakan ng authority ng taong magdi-distribute ng kaari-arian ng isang tao, depende kung may will sila or kung wala silang will dito sa United Kingdom, under what we call intestacy rules. Is that truth or myth? Number 3, only the executors named in the will are entitled to see the will before a grant of probate is obtained. So, only the executors, kung sino lang nakalagay daw dun sa will na minention na executor, sila lang ang entitled to see the will before a grant of probate is obtained. Bago daw makuhang grant of probate. Is it truth or a myth? Number 4, if you're just tuning in, nandito pa rin po tayo, truth or myth. Very simple ang mechanics. Huhulaan nyo lang po kung truth or myth yung statement na sasabihin ko. And our topic today is probate dispute. Number 4, after the grant or probate, wills become publicly available online via public registry or probate registry rather. So after the grant of probate, wills become publicly available online via this probate registry. Totoo ba to? Nasa online ba to kapag pagkatapos na nag-grant yung probate? Nasa online nga, available nga ba online ang mga wills? Number 5, there is nothing that I can do to stop probate being granted, even if I think that the will is invalid. So kahit nasa tingin mo hindi tama, hindi valid, may challenge ka sa will, wala kang magagawa legally to stop a probate from being granted by the court or by the probate registry. Truth or myth? Number 6, I cannot make a claim if I was left out of the will, even if I was maintained by the deceased before his or her death. Wala na daw pag-asa mag-claim kung wala ako sa will, kung hindi ako nakalagay, hindi ako mentioned sa will. Kahit pa maintained ako, sinusuportahan ako, sinusustentohan ako ng namatay immediately before his or her death. Is that truth or myth? Number 7, you are not allowed to inquire how the will was drafted or prepared, even if you have valid concerns. So kung may concern ka, bawal magtanong how the will was drafted or prepared. Is that truth or myth? Number 8, you only have 6 months from the grant of probate to make a claim under Inheritance Provision for Dependents Act 1975. So 6 months lang daw from the grant of probate to make a claim under the Inheritance Provision for Dependents Act 1975. It's number 8. Truth or myth? Number 9, if the executors of the estate are not doing their duties promptly, you can apply to the court to get them removed. Is that truth or myth? So if the executors, yung tagapamahala ng estate, taga-distribute, are not doing their duties or not doing them promptly, not doing them at all, pwede ka daw mag-apply sa korte para tanggalin sila at i-replace. Is that truth or myth? Number 10, if you are an executor, you will never be personally liable for how you administer the estate. So if you are an executor, kayo yung taga-distribute ng estate, never kang magiging personally liable for how you distributed or you managed, you administered the estate of the deceased. Truth or myth? Very, very quickly, we're gonna go through the 10 statements. If you're tuning in, pwede pang humabol. Mechanics, huhulaan lang truth or myth, and then I will give the answers later or further explanation. Number 1, the assets owned by the deceased at the time of their death are referred to collectively as their estate. So, mga ari-arian pala na tinatawag, sinasabi natin ng namatay, yan pala ang estate na sinasabi ng mga abogado. Number 2, probate is the legal authority by which someone can distribute the deceased assets according to their will or under the intestacy rule. So, probate pala yung term na ginagamit ng mga abogado ng korte to mean the authority. Yan ang authority na pinagkukunan para maipamahagi yung ari-arian, depende kung may will or under intestacy rule if walang will na iniwan. Number 3, only the executors in the will are entitled to see the will before a grant of probate is obtained. Is that truth or myth? So before the grant of probate ay nakuha, yung mga executors lang na nakalagay doon are really legally entitled to see a will. Totoo ba yan? O haka-haka lang? Number 4, after the grant of probate, wills become publicly available online via probate registry. Number 5, there is nothing that I can do to stop probate being granted, even if I think the will is invalid. So wala ka na daw magagawa to stop a probate from being granted, even if you think that invalid or may something fishy about the will. Number 6, I cannot make a claim if I was left out of the will, even if I was maintained by the deceased before his or her death. So kung ako ay hindi na mention sa will at kahit pa sinusustentohan ako ng namatay, bago siya namatay, wala na daw pag-asa talaga to claim after that. Is that truth or a myth? Number 7, you are not allowed to inquire how the will was drafted or prepared even if you have valid concerns. So wala ka daw karapatan mag-inquire kung paano yan ginawa even if it was drafted. Paano ginawa yan, paano prepare yan, even if you have valid concerns. Number 8, you only have 6 months from the grant of probate to make a claim under Inheritance Provision for Dependents Act 1975. 6 na buwan lang daw to claim under that act after the grant of probate. Number 9, if the executors of the estate are not doing their duties promptly, you can apply to get them removed. So if they are doing a poor job, if they're not doing them at all, or if they're very slow, you can apply. If you're a beneficiary, you can apply to get them removed. Number 10, if you are an executor, you will never be personally liable for how you administer the estate. So, kung ikaw ay executor, kung tagapamahagi, never ka daw magiging personally liable. Is that truth or myth? Now, exchange papers. Here we are. Mag-check na naman tayo with explanation. So, number 1, starting easy, starting quite simple tayo. The assets owned by the deceased at the time of their death are referred to collectively as their estate. Of course, that is true. Sana lahat tayo nakuha yan. That is fairly self-explanatory. Although sometimes it's quite, kung first time mo, when I heard of it first time, medyo naguluhan din ako. Parang, why do you have to call it a certain name? You can just call it assets. But here in the United Kingdom, ganun po ang tawag, ganun ang technical term. So if you want to say estate, that really means someone who's died. The estate of the deceased. John Doe, Jane Doe, that's how we call it here. Number 2, probate is the legal authority by which someone can distribute the deceased estate assets according to their will or under the intestacy rules kung wala silang will. That is true, and hopefully that gives everyone the idea kung ano yung probate, which we kept repeating all throughout this session. So yung probate, once probate is that authority, when you have that authority, the legal authority para i-handle, i-administer yung ari-arian ng namatay, the estate of the deceased, to distribute them in accordance with their will, kung meron sila, kung wala silang will, in accordance to the rules of intestacy. That's number 3. So that's true. No, that's number 2 rather. That's true. Number 3, only the executors named in the will are entitled to see the will before a grant of probate is obtained. So before a grant of probate is obtained, yung mga executors lang daw ang legally entitled to see the will. That is true. However, if anyone else asks for a copy, all of the executors, the dalawang executors, they all must agree to disclose the will. So they can agree between themselves to disclose the will beforehand, but sila lang yung legally entitled to see it. But hang on for further information later. Baka tanong, paano ko malalaman kung ano nakalagay doon, or if I think something is a bit wrong. So number 4, after the grant of probate, wills become publicly available online by probate registry. So is that true or myth? That is true. So for a fee, may babayaran ka, I think it's £10. So if you look at the probate registry, kung nag-grant na yung probate, then the wills there are really public. You can request. Malalagay doon kung may wills available. Certain exemption, kung masyadong maliit yung estate, hindi na kailangan ng grant of probate, then really, kahit may will sila, it's not appearing in the probate registry. All also, minsan, nag-a-apply sa korte for under exemptions, a certain rule. What I can think of is Prince Philip's will. They applied, the lawyers of his estate applied to keep his will as confidential. I think the reason cited, don't quote me on this, you can look it up, Google it, quite interesting, is because I think as a respect to the monarchy, as a respect to the Queen, they chose not to disclose it, or they argued to the court that it's in the public interest and the monarchy's interest not to disclose it. And it can only be disclosed, I think, at some point in the future. So you can Google that. I believe they were approved. So may mga certain exemptions pa rin dyan. Not only kung small, maliit lang yung estate, di kailangan ng probate, because not everyone needs probate. And kung kung si Prince Philip ka, or may certain implications, public interest implication, yung confidentiality ng isang will, then they might approve it. I'm so sorry about that. Medyo lang yung, mas lalong lumala. Kasi, hindi na, ayan, tingnan natin kung ayun, okay na, ayan, that's better. Kitang-kita yung sa likod. Now, the next one, there is nothing that I can do to stop probate being granted, even if I think the will is invalid. That is false, actually. That is not true. You can enter what we call technically a caveat. So, if you think something is fishy, if you think, there's something a bit not right about the situation, you can stop a probate from being granted by putting a caveat. 20 pounds ata ang fee with the probate registry. Best to get independent legal advice about it. Again, slightly nakakaano lang, kukunin ko lang yan para hindi naman kayo baka sue me for personal injury. So much better. Ay, maliktad. Hindi talaga yun. Ayun, much better. So, there are 5 grounds to challenge a will, really. The first one is the will has not been properly executed, so it means hindi properly signed, not properly witnessed, so that's one ground. Second one is the testator lacked mental capacity to make a will. So sometimes people would say, alam ko, wala na siyang, may Alzheimer's na siya at that time, hindi niya na alam yung ginagawa niya. So that's one, although not necessarily you have to back that up, that's one of the grounds to challenge a will. Number 3, the testator did not know and approve the contents of their will. So again, you have to back that up. Number 4, ito yung parating yung naririnig ko in terms of practice. So I'm a litigator, I don't really draft wills. I don't deal with probate, I deal with probate disputes. So pag nag-away na sila, that case would go to me. So this is really what I hear often. The testator was coerced or unduly influenced by somebody else to make the will. So sasabihin yung paborito niyang anak kasi kasama niya parate. Yan ang undue influence. There's very technical definition, or by case law, technical yung standard ng undue influence, and of course we need evidence of that. They say in law school, the classic way is, nakita mo, may gun. They were holding a gun on their head, and that's the reason why they signed it. That's undue influence. That's a classic law school example of that. And the 5th one was the testator married or entered into a civil partnership after the will was made. So civil partnership or a marriage, it will make all your previous wills invalid. So yun ang isang ground to challenge a will. So you can, if you think that there's a challenge to a probate, that legal authority to be granted by the probate registry, then you can enter a caveat para stop yung approval ng probate na yan. But actually, even after the probate is granted, you can still challenge the will. So it doesn't stop there. Kasi sabi ko kanina, di ba, hindi kami inalaw na tingnan yung will, ngayon lang namin nakita, or walang will, so we don't really know what's happening. So that's you can still challenge it. You can challenge it before the will. If there's a will, you can challenge it before the grant of probate is, or even without a will, before the grant of probate is granted. Even after on, you can still challenge it. Pero kailangan may ebidensya. Number 6, I cannot make a claim if I was left out of the will, even if I was maintained by the deceased before his or her death. Truth or myth? That is a myth. Dahil parati natin ito pinag-uusapan. You can make a claim if you're a dependent of the deceased at hindi ka niya nabigyan ng reasonable provision under the will. So that's under Inheritance Provision for Dependents Act 1975. Traditionally, it was for mistresses, illegitimate children. It was also obviously in due course. It was also used by sometimes mga kapamilya na sinusuportahan at hindi nalagay dun sa will. So that's open here in English law. That's a very unique characteristic, isang unique na feature ng English law that even if you're not in the will, kung sinuportahan ka, pwede kang mag-claim. Number 7, you're not allowed to inquire how the will was drafted or prepared, even if you have valid concerns, truth or myth. That is a myth. Actually, in the UK, you can make what we call a Lark and Nugus request. So Lark V, as in versus, but how we say it in the UK is end. So Lark and Nugus was a case that really set out what we can ask for if we smell something fishy, if we're not quite sure about a certain will. You can ask how it was prepared. So who's prepared that will, they will have to answer certain questions about how it was drafted, how they took instructions. So yes, you can do that. You can ask a Lark and Nugus statement from the solicitor. That's also the reason why sinasabi namin, if you want to make a will, and kung gusto mo na medyo less yung potential challenge in the future, a solicitor would be best placed to do it. Not only because they have hindi lang naman sila, but other will writers, but it's easier to track them down later on. It's easier to see kung ano yung ginawa nila when they were taking instructions because of this Lark and Nugus request. But that applies to everyone, kahit will drafters na hindi solicitor. They should be able to tell you how they took instructions. I think that's quite interesting. Number 8, you only have 6 months from the grant of probate to make a claim under the Inheritance Provision for Dependents Act 1975. Is that truth or myth? That is true. So 6 months lang. So that goes back, segue yan sa question number 6, which is you can make a claim kung sinusustentohan ka at hindi ka nabigyan ng tamang provision or reasonable provision sa will. But you only have 6 months from the grant of probate. You can agree to extend that between the parties by agreement. Pero kung hindi sila nag-agree, you'll have to either sue them or else you'll be what we call statute barred. Tapos na, end na, bawal ka na, expiry na ng claim. So 6 months, very short, very, very short. Number 9, if the executors of the estate are not doing their duties promptly, not doing it at all, you can apply if you're one of the beneficiaries, naghihintay ka ng pamana sa'yo, hindi naman ginagawa masyado ng executors yung trabaho nila, you can apply to get them removed. Truth or myth? That is true in the United Kingdom. So executors are mentioned in the will. Sabi nga, sila yung may trabaho na nabigyan ng role nung namatay. na magdi-distribute ng mga ari-arian in accordance to dun sa will, or if walang will, they'll be the next of kin who can apply for letters of administration. The end of it is that, or the summary of it is, if they don't do their jobs properly, the beneficiaries can indeed make an application to the court to get them removed and replaced. So, pwede silang tanggalin. And again, from a litigator's perspective, again, that's one of the things na parating naririnig namin na complaint. It's because the executors were seen not to be doing their jobs properly. And number 10, if you are an executor, you will never be personally liable for how you administer the estate. That is a myth. Executors can be held personally, financially liable for any breaches of duty. So instead, kung wari sabi dun sa will, kay Maria mo binigay mo kay Juan, pwede kang kasuhan ni Maria, personally liable ka kay Maria. So word of caution, if you are an executor, o tinanong ka ng kaibigan mo, kapatid mo na gusto mo bang maging executor, it's a huge role. It's a very serious role. If you don't do it properly, pwede kang habulin personally ng mga beneficiary. So that's it, really. We'll do a quick recap ng ating truth or myth today. Number 1, the assets owned by the deceased at that time of their death are referred to collectively as their estate. That is true. Yan nga ang estate. Probate is the legal authority by which someone can distribute the deceased estate according to the will or according to this intestacy rule. That is again true. Yan po ang definition ng probate na pinag-uusapan natin today, the legal authority to distribute the assets of the deceased. Only the executor's name in the will are entitled to see the will before grant of probate is obtained. Totoo din po yan, although they can agree between themselves kung gusto nilang i-disclose at early stage before the grant of probate. After the grant of probate, wills become publicly available online via the probate registry. That is true, but for a fee. Merong babayaran, £10 lang ata. Pero may mga exemption. Kung maliit yung estate, di nila kailangan ng probate, so hindi sila lalabas dun sa database. It's a database you can search. I think what you need to put is the last name and the year of death. And also may mga special cases. So I gave an example. Prince Philip's will, there was an application made to, I think, High Court actually, that it shall remain confidential for the purpose of I think, as a respect to the monarchy, or along those lines. Look it up, Google it, very, very interesting. For a period of time, I think, and then after a period of time, it will be released. I think the same then, I think Queen Victoria as well applied for confidentiality. I don't know, don't quote me on that, but I think in the 1800s. And then, only a few years ago, na na-disclose yung isang monarch, way a long time ago, a hundred years later, na-disclose na yung kanilang will. I found it very interesting anyway. Number 5, there's nothing that I can do to stop a probate being granted, even if I think the will is invalid. That is a myth, because you can enter a caveat which will stop a probate from being granted, but only for a little while. And you have to have a reason. I won't talk about it because you're entering a very technical area, kasi you can be challenged. Kung pwede kang ano ba yung sa poker, is they can call kung nag-bluff ka lang, because you have to prove that you have a case, that they have a case to answer. Please do it with legal advice. So seek legal advice before you start putting caveat on random people's will, because that could potentially start a court proceeding. Only do it if you've got valid grounds or potentially valid claim. I spoke about 5 grounds. I won't repeat that again. I'll recap lang to. So later, a few minutes ago, I said the 5 usual grounds for challenging a will. Number 6, I cannot make a claim if I was left out of the will, even if I was maintained by the deceased before his or her death. That is myth. Dahil pwede po kayong mag-claim under the Inheritance Provision for Dependents Act 1975. As I've said, very unique in English law. Kahit wala ka sa will, kung sinusustentahan ka, immediately before the death of the deceased, you can make a claim. Number 7, you are not allowed to inquire how the will was drafted or prepared, even if you have valid concerns. That is a myth as well. You can ask what we call a lark and nugus request. So that's the technical term for the law students out there. Very quite a technical statement. So if you're looking to be a wills specialist, be prepared behind the future. Baka ikaw yung tanongin ng lark and nugus the statement or information. Number 8, you only have 6 months from the grant of probate to make a claim under Inheritance Provision for Dependents Act 1975. That is true. So pwede kang mag-claim pero bilisan mo. 6 months lang ang allowed, or else you'll really have to sue them. Number 9, if the executors of the estate are not doing their duties promptly, you can apply to get them removed. That is true. And if you're an executor, you will never be personally liable for how you administered the estate. That is a myth. You can be personally, financially responsible if you don't do your job properly as an executor of the estate. Mr. Laragan, perfect ba?
I have 8 mistakes. 8 out of 10. No mistakes.
Very good.
Yeah. I hope yung iba yata may mga reactions, attorney. So we'll find out kung ano yung mga, may mga reactions diyan.
Yung mga violent reactions ba? Bakit hindi ko?
Yeah, I mean, yung But okay, ayan. Uy, sige. Oliver Fernandez.
True.
Ayan, perfect ba?
Perfect ata si Oliver eh. True.
Oh, good. Oh, okay.
Oh, perfect si Oliver. Galing!
Galing. Ayan, meron pa yata, may mga comments pa rin.
Hindi po.
Meron pa. Direct yung sinasabi mo, si Edgar Duay yata ayan. Edgar Duay. Nakailan ba si Edgar?
I think may certain rule about who can apply for executors. Again, we'll have to check about that. Meron kaming pina-follow na succession. So, hindi naman yan mawawalan ng potential people to apply for executors. So, there'll be a list. I can't remember in the top of my head, but there is a group of people who can apply for executors. Or at the end of the day, the court can appoint an executor kasi pwede mo mga sila ma-remove yung mga buhay na hindi naman ginagawa yung trabaho nila. You can remove them So the court ultimately will have a discretion to it.
Ayan. Okay. Ito, inaano ko si Snooki naglalapit. Okay. Ayan. Sige. Oy, si Gabriela sila. Nag-react din.
Audience participation. Ang galing. It's quite cool na, di ba? Masaya na lahat included sa ating discussion. And it's a fun way of remembering things.
Okay, all right. So thank you, Gabriela. Edgar Duay, 9 out of 10. No, okay yan. Ako nga, naka 8 out of 10 lang. I'm still a good student. Very good. Very good. Yan, okay.
Dahil truly dagdag ka, alam mo tayo, hindi ko alam na magiging invalid ang previous will ko kung palitan ko asawa ko. That is true. Yes. That is true.
Uy, the best si Irene, the best kumbaga wife, yan.
Oh, hi.
Sabagay ni Edgar, that's for me to know, for you to find out. No? Pero yeah, it's a loving wife, yan. Uy, si Ma'am Cora. 7 years daw siya. Hindi, okay lang. Katuwaan nga. Maraming mga reactions ba tawag yan? Maraming mga feedback, attorney, yung mga mga sumagot sa...
Medyo controversial ata yung topic na to.
Hindi, maganda yan, maganda yan. Mga kasi yung ano, di ba, kung makakahabol ka pa sa wheel or sa, nalalaman mo, no? At pwede mong questionin yung, no? Marami ko pwede ano, no? Natutunan kami. So that's good, that's good. Wait, Darmin, mabuhay ha. Thank you, Darmin ha. Good evening, Darmin ha.
A few weeks ago, hindi ko
Ganun ba? Happy birthday, belated. Oo nga, oo.
Si Darwin
Yeah. Hey, actually, si Darby, we want to thank her dahil pagka nag-post tayo, sinishare niya kagad. Which is good, no? Ina-approve niya kagad. So, thank you.
Sa mga post ni Darwin, ang good vibes din eh. Yung mga post niya na actually mapapahalak ka minsan pag nagbabasa ka ng feed. Tapos, halimbawa, you're just taking a break or medyo stress yung araw mo. Yung mga post ni Darwin nakakatawa. So, thank you. Actually, generally, yung post ng mga kaibigan natin sa community natin na very positive yung lahat ng tao dito sa community natin. It's something to be proud of. So, ako, hindi naman sa Marites, talagang naghihintay din ako ng mga sabi ko sa'yo, mababa lang kaligayahan ko, Mr. Laraga, mag-post ka lang ng joke online. Masaya na ako.
The simplest things, alam mo, the best, anything that's simple, the best songs actually are simply written. Hindi yung masyadong matrabaho, masyadong overproduced. Some of the melodies are the simplest songs, are the biggest hits. There's this lady girl na mayaman sila, may kaya sila, yung kanyang sweetheart. Alam mo, they can afford anything, they can afford, pero alam mo gusto niya, binibigyan ng lobo, tsaka dadalhin na sa sa ordinary fare. Yung fare, yung perya, yung dito, yung mga, ganun lang kababaw. Mas masarap kasi yun eh, mas iba yun eh. Mas pure, mas masaya. Mas kumbaga, mas soulful sa puso, sa heart at sa soul para sa akin. Yun ang tunay. So, nagigising niya, ni little girl. Nagising eh. Come to daddy. Daddy, come to daddy. Daddy, tawag sa akin ito. Ay, daddy. Si mami niya, ayan, natulog si Snooki kanina, si cutie Snooki, ayan, Ayan, naghihikab,
Ang laki niya na.
Nagigising lang, actually. Oo, naku, makikituwa ka pag nakita mo to. Kaya lang matahol, ang problema lang namin kasi, tahol siya ng tahol na, sabagay, pag ganyan mga klase ng breed, masyado maingay. So, ito, nakatulog to ng entire lesson mo. Nakatulog siya
Nagising nung
sarap ng tulog niya, Ayan.
Tulog mo.
Ito na yung kanyang buhok. Hopefully, after mga 8 months to 10 months, medyo na siya. Ako'y na siya sa kanyang you will enjoy pagka magkita tayo, Tony, magkano tayo. So, makadalaw ka at itong little girl namin, meron siyang bell, may bell to,
para hindi cute. Para alam mo kung nasan, para hindi
Oo, pag alam mo nagdala ka din. Okay, Tita Danna, Tita Danna's talking about probate, no? Oo, namin yes. Ang score ni Snooki, score ni daddy niya, 8 out of 10. Ayan.
8 out of 10.
So, ayan.
Cute.
Yeah. Tita Danna, tita.
Mabait siya sa atin, Mabait. Sanay mag-guest co-host si Snooki.
Well, quiet siya rito. Pero pagka nasa labas yun, nag-aaway ito, lahat ng aso. Kasi ang kanyang view, maganda eh. Yung view niya kasi rito, attorney, pakita ko sa yung view na. Hindi ko alam kung maiikot ko. Yan ang view niya everyday. Ayan ang view niya. Dalawang klase ng view na nakikita niyan eh.
Very nice.
Both sa bedroom at saka dito. Ayan, so namimintana itong aso na to. Ito ang asong namimintana sa umaga at sa gabi. Bago matulog, namimintana. Ayusin ko lang yung aking camera. Ayan. Edgar Do, ayan.
Sana magkaroon kayo ng live legal corner, immigration corner. Yeah! Anong araw ba yung June 3? Sabado
Sabado
siguro.
yata, Tony. Sabado. Oo. Oh, yeah. So,
Kaya walang train strike na ano ko ng... Ayan.
yeah, hindi. Pag ano, attorney, we'll drop daanan ka namin. Kasi meron kaming ano eh. So, ang nasa isip namin, iikot lang kami nila Snooki, dadaan kami sa Derby, tapos ano, kung ano, daanan ka lang namin, papunta ron.
That's very kind.
Ay, pero teka muna, problema, oo. Sige, pero ang problema, ipauwi, no? Parang ano, di ba? Ano?
Oh, walang problema sa akin mag-train. I love going to train. So, we'll sort it out. We'll sort it out. But yeah.
Oh, well, sorry, yeah. Kasi what we intend to do is drop by daan sa Derby and then go on forward sa ano, para maiikot lang si Snooki.
Snooki, maganda dun eh.
Yan. Okay. Well, maganda yung ating topic for tonight. Maraming mga nag-react, ha? So, nag-submit ng papers. Maganda yan. So, let's do it again. Maganda yan. Every week ko namin ginagawa to, no? Ni attorney, nagpe-prepare siya ng truth or myth every week. And ayan ho, dinidiscuss natin dito sa ating programa. So, yeah, I hope you guys had learned a lot of things today, no? Maraming salamat. Attorney, nag-enjoy ka ba rin din sa ano mo? Sa iyong this is a very fun way of imparting knowledge, no? Imparting itong ating ginagawa. So nakakatuwa. We learned a lot today, no? At saka di lang UK, talapang mundo ka pa, worldwide. Imagine from Greece to Saudi Arabia, and I think Spain yata yung si OG, if I'm not mistaken. So kumpleto ang ating mundo, no? Thank you very much. Ayan, no? Okay, well, masaya ating mga discussion, and a lot of lovely things tonight. Naka hat trick ka ngayon, ha? Tapos we were discussing about yung trip mo sa Alps, and si Oliver gave us some di ba? Tama yung sinasabi niyo, no? Yung parang sa kanila yung kanyang sinare na merong yatang parang paano yun, logbook or something na along the way, ganyan ba?
Yeah. Trail book. I think yung sa
trail book. Oh. So, ayan, no. Dito ba, meron ba tayong ganun sa UK? Sa US lang yan tayo, no? Sabi mo, may Minnesota Pacific, tapos may Continental Drive ba yun, no? Parang divide or something.
Continental Divide Trail, Pacific Crest Trail, Appalachian Trail. Dito
Appalachian Trail.
Minsan may makikita ka sa mountain, bihira na may parang maliit na logbook, but not as much as dun sa napapanood mo sa mga US na talagang every section may nakalagay. So yeah, it's good. Sana one day mag-hike sa US. So one day US, maybe one day Everest.
Lahat magagawa mo, attorney. Lahat ng di ba? Sabi mo, sige, hindi naman masamang mag-dream mo, mangarap eh. But who knows, di ba? Nagsisimula lahat ng bagay-bagay sa pangarap eh. Yung mga skyscrapers, yung mga submarines, yung mga lahat yan, imagination na eh, no? Or dreams or whatever, no? And they become reality. So, yeah, well, thank you very much again, attorney, for the lovely, wonderful discussion that you gave us. So, ayan. Well, I guess it's time for us to say goodbye, no? So baka meron ka pang mga dagdag na gustong idagdag sa diniscuss mo, baka nakalimutan mo, or some shout-outs, and how to get in touch with you, most especially, attorney, go right ahead, please.
Yes, if you want to discuss a particular case, dahil po ito po ay a general advice lang, general procedure, or general knowledge lang in a particular area of law, but must nire-recommend pa rin po to seek independent legal advice for your particular facts and circumstances. You can contact me at danna.quinto@dvsolicitors.com or call me at 01234-225-188. Again, it's danna.quinto@dvsolicitors.com or call me at 01234-225-188. Again, thank you everyone. I just want to say appreciate a moment of gratitude sa mga viewers natin. Napaka bibo po ng ating viewers today. Daming nag-submit ng papers, ang daming mga from different areas of the world. Thank you, Direk Pao. Thank you, Mr. Laragan. And of course, thank you, Snooki. Dahil nagising ka
Tumalon,
para sa
attorney.
amin. Tulog ka na eh. Nagising ka pa.
Oo, tumalon siya, she enjoyed yung ating discussion din in a way kasi habang nagdi-discuss tayo naririnig niya yung kanyang daddy nagre-relax, nakapagpahinga. So, Tony, thank you very much. We as always, it's as always a added information legally and non-legally, that we get from you, and nakakatuwa because it becomes like a chat between friends, no? Parang yung sinishare mo, parang kausap mo yung ating mga kaibigan na nanonood sa atin. We can touch them by way of our show, no? Na parang we're touching them, no? By way of our show. So ito ay aside from the legal advice, aside from the things that you impart to them, yun nga, yung mga tips din sa mga pag-hike or anything other than legal, no? Pinag-uusapan natin, which is nakakatuwa naman, no? And we learn a lot. I learn a lot every time we have a program or we interact. Nakaka-pick up ako ng mga ideas, no? Like ngayon, hindi ko alam na if somebody dreams about going to Mount Everest, you're talking of a minimum of five-figure, di ba? Na gastos, no? So hindi pala yan. And now that we know about K2 is the 1 out of 4, medyo may ilang mortality rate yan, no? So but a lot, well, aside from yung ating yung pinag-uusapan natin. So maraming salamat, attorney, no? At syempre, yung mga kababayan, pagka meron ho kayong ito pahapi ho lang pinag-uusapan. But when the time comes and you really need a lawyer, talagang abogado talaga, kailangan syempre mag-hire kayo or kailangan nyo ng services ng abogado, mas maganda ho kung Pilipina o Pilipino, no? Na nakakausap nyo na ipapaliwanag ninyo yung inyong case, mas madaling magkaintindihan. Minsan yung grammar, hirap yung verb, no? Yung mga verb tenses ng verb, kung paano yung action kung tapos na o hindi pa tapos. Yung, di ba, minsan pag nag-i-English tayo, di ba? But it's nice also to have a lawyer na Pilipino, di ba? Ayan, hindi gusto niya lumabas, inilak ko. Kasi pagka lalabas siya, nagtatatahol yun eh. So, nakakahiya sa mga neighbors.
Sense of approval kay Snooki. Kala ko parang, agree, daddy. Oh.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Snooki, come, daddy, come. Come, daddy, come. We're saying goodbye. Come.
Kailangan ko
Come. Ayan.
ating
Goodbye. Okay. Yung ating little girl. Goodbye yan.
little
Ayan.
girl na
Okay, mga kaibigan, ito po si Snooki at magpapaalam na po siya. Ayan, kita nyo, nagbikab-bikab pa. Ayan, no. Hopefully, makaikot tayo nitong June, July, itong summertime kasama ho namin si Snooki, no. So, magpapaalam ho kami officially. So, sa ngalan ho ni Attorney Danna Quinto, no, yung ating pinakamamahal na abogada, sa ngalan po ni Paula Patricia Perez, yung ating director, at sa ngalan ho ng ating co-host, pasigit-sigit na si Snooki the Cutie or Cute Snooki. Ito po si Sonny Laragan nagsasabing thank you very much so sa inyong walang sawang pagsubaybay, no? Dito po sa Legal Advice Corner every Tuesday night. So we'll do it again next Tuesday. So till then, take care, God bless, and good night. Bye.
Good night.
Bye, Snooki. Bye, Snooki. Bye-bye. Bye. Tita Kans. Bye. Tita Jeanette. Bye-bye. Good night. Ayan, good night.